Good afternoon. There's plenty of time for scorelines to change between now and the final whistles of all today's football matches. Carlton Palmer, Mark Bright and Garth Crooks are following the 6 Barclays Premier League games underway. Already over the head-to-head clash of the top 2 in the table. Ivan Gaskell was at the Emirates for Arsenal versus Manchester United.
Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2. A marvellous game between two fine sides that are simply hard to separate. Two fevered moments either side of the break saw United take the lead, then Arsenal respond. First, Ronaldo's cross to Rooney at the near post. William Gallas despairingly seeing the ball divert off his body past his own keeper. Then Fabregas slid Sagnier's pullback coolly into the corner. Giggs, Gallas and Rooney all saw good chances go begging before Cristiano Ronaldo stunned the Emirates 10 minutes from time. But just as United thought they'd won it, William Gallas volleyed in his shot a clear yard over the line. Arsenal 25 consecutive games without defeat now, a new club record. A terrific game, the result about right. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2.
Arsenal top on goals scored. Visibly confirming quite a game at St James's Park. Newcastle against Portsmouth. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, I thought it was a little bit quiet in the second half after that blistering first, but we've had another goal. It's gone to Portsmouth. Newcastle 1, Portsmouth 4. It went from Nico Kranjčar. It was a free kick, hard on the left-hand touch line. He took the kick. I don't know whether he got a deflection. I don't think so. I think it went just straight through the defence and into the far corner of Steve Harper's net. And Portsmouth look good for 3 points here. They lead by 4 goals to 1.
2 Premier League wins in 23 for Fulham ahead of today's game with Reading. It was away form. Red 1 point from 15 when the game kicked off. Jake Humphrey reporting.
Well, Ray, you know, those facts speak for themselves. A team with a dire away record against the side with 1 win all season. The omens weren't good, but the football has been. And it started well for Fulham. Simon Davies, after just 15 minutes, the ball came across. There was headed tennis in the box. It dropped to him. He volleyed the ball into the back of the net to give the home side the lead. But I'm afraid to say Fulham, if they take the lead, they tend to give it away after not too long. And that's exactly what happened here. Kevin Doyle with a header just after half-time. Managed to pill it all square for Reading. And then just moments ago, just seconds ago, Clint Dempsey at the far post. Once again, it was a messy goal to concede for Reading. But Clint Dempsey put the ball in the back of the net, giving the home fans something to cheer about once again. It's now Fulham 2, Reading 1.
Leeds' unbeaten record under threat, and Carlisle could be going top of League One. Carlisle 2, Leeds United 1. Back to the Barclays Premier League, Avram Grant lost his first game in charge of Chelsea to Manchester United. Unbeaten in 4 since then. Chelsea away at Wigan today. Wigan on a run of 5 straight defeats. Dan Walker.
Yes, Ray, and it's Chelsea who were in complete control in the first half. Quality goals from Frank Lampard provided by Sean Wright-Phillips, and a screamer from Giuliano Belletti all the way from right back. But Wigan have bossed this second period. They're throwing men forward, and both Carvalho and Alex have had to make important blocks. If Wigan can get a goal, then we're in for quite a finish here. By the way, Didier Drogba having one of those games where he wants to be referee. Michael Brown put in a challenge he didn't like. He chased him, he pulled him back, he lectured him. He would have given him a yellow card if he'd had one. In fact, it was Drogba who's gone in the referee's book, and he's just been substituted as well for Kalou. Probably a wise decision from Avram Grant.
Chelsea moving to within 3 points of leaders Arsenal and Manchester United. Tottenham's first Premier League game under new boss Juan de Ramos is away at Middlesbrough. Defeat for either side would put them in the relegation places. Andrew James reporting.
Ray, it's Middlesbrough 1, Spurs 1 on day 1 for one day, and he started well enough by making a double change, giving a start to both Defoe and Bent. Defoe's first Premiership start of the season, and Bent obliged by getting the first half goal that put Tottenham ahead. But Middlesbrough really went strongly at them in the second half, and they got a fantastic equalising goal from Luke Young, who was a 10-year-old, was a schoolboy at Tottenham before going on to play for them, of course, in the Premier League. Great goal from Young. That was the equaliser, and that's how it is at the moment. It's Middlesbrough 1, Tottenham 1.
Everton just behind the leading group of clubs ahead of a home game with Birmingham. Birmingham just above the clubs in and around the relegation places. Damien Johnson reporting from Goodison Park.
Yes, Ray, Everton 1, Birmingham 0. Yakubu's first half goal, the only real highlight in a pretty dull game. A smart finish after Arteta and Pienaar played him in. The Nigerians missed a couple of decent chances to extend Everton's lead, and Lee Carsley's just had a dipping volley go over the angle of post and bar. It's been strictly damage limitation for Birmingham. Their only effort on target from Olivier Capo, well saved by Tim Howard. What little football there is has come from Everton. They need another, though, to kill the game off. 1-0 they lead.
It's a Villa Park where Aston Villa are playing bottom of the table Derby. Roger Johnson reporting.
It's Aston Villa 2, Derby 0. 2 goals in quick succession after the restart, giving Villa the emphatic lead that Derby's dogged determination had seemed set to deny them. Martin Larsson tapped in Gareth Barry's nod back as Derby's defenders dozed for the first time. Then Ashley Young slammed in the second after Bywater had initially saved well from Agbon Lahore. Derby, without an away goal yet this season, have seemed unlikely to get one, although substitute Robert Earnshaw's just gone close. They're even less likely, though, to get back into this match. Villa lead 2-0.
Still time for the scorelines to change in those games, of course. What's your verdict on the Arsenal-Manchester United game? It was game of the season by an arm and a leg, though, wasn't it? Fantastic.
Oh, it was a fantastic game. And, you know, I was interviewing Arsene Wenger today. He was talking about how it used to be a very physical game. Now it's turned into a more tactical and technical game. And there was just everything in the game. Great goals, great entertainment. And in the end, I just thought it would have been harsh on them, but they scored right at the end, Arsenal. I thought they deserved it.
Wanda Ramos left out Robbie Keane and Berbatov. What's your thoughts on that?
But he's brought them on second half at a time whereby you've given both those players an opportunity, one, to prove themselves that, you know, they are up to the task, but also he's got a chance now to those two players to win the game for him. They're making hard work of it, but it's on a knife edge, this game.
It's a key 10 or 15 minutes for Middlesbrough and Spurs. Chelsea looks like it's a workmanlike win away at Wigan. They're going to be within 3 points of the league leaders.
Yeah, I mean, it was Wigan have been struggling of late, but Wright Phillips has been outstanding for Chelsea this afternoon. He's absolutely tormented them. Frank Lampard's back to scoring goals, playing a little bit more forward like he likes to do. And, you know, if Frankie plays in that position, you know, he's going to score 16, 17 league goals.
To Scotland now. League leader Celtic playing at lunchtime away at Kilmarnock. Ready for Scythe.
Scott McDonald proved his worth yet again for Celtic with 2 goals in as many minutes to see them past Kilmarnock at Rugby Park despite a second-half revival by the spirited Ayrshire side. McDonald came close with a left-foot shot off the post after 2 minutes, but he found his range just after the half-hour when he drifted past Ford to bury his drive beyond Alan Coombe. Killie were still reeling when McDonald put them 2 down with a glancing header from McGeady's cross. Gary Locke came on at the restart to give Kilmarnock some dig in midfield, and it was his free kick that provided Fraser Wright with a scoring header. Had Colin Nish buried either of his point-blank efforts, Celtic might have been in trouble, but as it is, they stay clear at the top of the SPL. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 2.
No win last 3 for Nottingham Forest, pushing for the leadership of League One. But they're beating Tranmere by 2-0. Tranmere kicked off third, 6 versus 3rd at the City Ground. So Celtic lead the SPL table by 6 points. Brian McLaughlin is watching Rangers' response at home to third bottom Inverness.
Lead by 2-0, Ray. Chris Boyd opening and scoring after just 35 seconds. Then defender Carlos Quiller with a header 18 minutes into the second half. That second goal settling Rangers just as Cali threatened to get an equaliser. Bain and Wine is both coming close for Craig Brewster's side. We have 8.5 minutes left for play at Ibrox, but it's Rangers 2, Cali Thistle 0.
They've had chances, yeah, they've not killed it.
Goodison Park, news of a goal. Everton against Birmingham. Damien Johnson.
Well, against the run of play, Birmingham have equalised here. Olivier Capo with a header from a left-wing corner, right-wing corner, should I say. It was swung in. Capo was unmarked. The ball possibly went in off a defender, but Capo, I think, will be credited with the goal. Completely against the run of play here. Birmingham equalised, 1-1.
Well, once again, the Capo fits because he scored goals from last week, and that could be a crisis sequence.
Well, he scored really 2 good goals last week. The goal today was a bit sloppy from Everton's point of view. Everton had the opportunity to tie this game up once and for all, and they've missed chances, and our reporter has told us that. I think they'll be very disappointed if they go away having not taken all 3 points, Everton.
First is playing third in the Championship. Watford at home to West Bromwich Albion. Albion keen to put the brakes on the league leaders and stop them opening up a significant lead. Dominic Cotton reporting.
And they're doing exactly that. It's Watford 0, West Bromwich Albion 3. Watford's high flyers were shot down by 2 first-half goals. West Brom's strikers Ismail Miller and Kevin Phillips both adding 1 to their already impressive individual tallies. The visitors went further ahead early in the second half. Martin Albrechtsen with a bullet header from a Jonathan Greening free kick. Watford have just 15 minutes to save face on their way to what will surely be just their second defeat of the season.
Second place, Bristol City took a 4-game winning sequence to 5th place Wolves. Latest news from Steve Lee.
Well, it remains Wolves 1, Bristol City 1. Mick McCarthy and Gary Johnson, 2 friends on the touchline. They did their coaching badges together, but in this game they've more or less out-tacticked one another. The first half really belonged to Wolves with a goal from Jay Bothroyd. Liam Fontaine equalised, but the second half, Bristol City have been much livelier. Darren Byfield should have scored just after the break. Marvin Elliott fired over the bar, and there was an effort just then deflected over the bar by Noble. So it's 1-1 with about 9 minutes left.
Brighton are on a good run. They've avoided defeat in 5 of the last 6, and 3 more points at home to Luton this afternoon will push them in and towards the playoff places. Back to the Championship. Only 2 points separated 6th place Stoke and 11th place Coventry when the game at the Britannia Stadium got going. The story of the match from Mark Webber.
Ray, if a football-loving Martian had landed here in the first half, he would have run straight back to his UFO and flown away at speed in disgust. Stoke were dire, Coventry were worse and awful, the referee on another planet. But Coventry decided to have a go midway through the second half and grabbed this game by the bits with a Mifsud low drive and an Adebola header, and we've just seen Mifsud send a belter into the back of the net. Ironic that 3 quality efforts invigorated a game with a distinct lack of quality overall. Stoke have given themselves half a chance thanks to Liam Lawrence penalty, but the initiative seems to be with Coventry. Stoke 1, Coventry 3.
Moving to League One, Swansea went top, having won last night. Second place Carlisle can overtake them, but they've got a tough game at home to Leeds. 13 games unbeaten, just outside the playoffs, despite the start in the season with that 15-point penalty. James Mason reporting.
A tough game, Ray, but they're winning. It's Carlisle 2, Leeds 1, and the touch paper has definitely been lit here in Cumbria. Leeds had been in cruise control through Jermaine Beckford's first half strike, but 2 goals in 9 minutes from Simon Hackney and Joe Garner has changed the complexion of this game completely, and it could mean Carlisle return to the top of League One this afternoon, and of course Leeds finally lose that unbeaten run. It's Carlisle United 2, Leeds United 1.
Well, it really is tight in League One. 3 points separated the top 6 when today's games kicked off. Nottingham Forest 6, Tranmere Rovers 3rd. Harry Grayson on duty for final score.
I'll tell you something, Ray, a superb volley from 15 yards by Nathan Tyson has surely sealed this for Forest, and what a transformation as well. Rovers easily the better side in the first half, but Agogo's penalty on 49 minutes and Tyson's gem really lifting the 16,800 fans. 2-0 to Forest.
News on the leaders in League Two. Wycombe playing MK Dons. Wycombe, the Battle of Buckinghamshire, started the day top. Robin Bailey.
Yes, it has been the Battle of Bucks, no doubt about that, Ray. It's 1-1 here still. Those goals from Matt Bloomfield for Wycombe and Colin Cameron, the equaliser for MK Dons in the first half. But the incident which shaped the game, a shot from Leon Johnson, stopped on the line by Keith Andrews. He was adjudged to have handled. He was sent off, I thought quite harshly, but that sparked all sorts of other problems, because then you had Lloyd Dyer getting involved in a knee-high tackle on one of the Wycombe players, Tom Williams, and that got him a sending off. So, since the 59th minute, MK Dons, the leaders, have been playing with 9 men, and they're holding out. It's the sort of game that Paul Ince would have loved to have played in. He's all over the fourth official. It's still 1-1. Anything could happen, but back Wycombe for a winner, surely.
Back to the Championship. Luigi Di Canio, no relation to Paolo, is the new manager of second bottom Queen's Park Rangers. First game in charge is a home match with Hull. Tony Lockwood's at Loftus Road.
It's Rangers 2, Hull 0, and Queen's Park Rangers' new Italian boss may not speak English, but his players have followed his instructions to the letter. Hogan Ephraim set them on their way in the first half, and a classic second-half strike from McKelly Ledgerwood has given them a 2. Dean Windass, Dean Marnie and Richard Garcia have all gone close, but Hull just can't find a way back. It's Rangers 2, Hull 0.
Bury 7 unbeaten, Barnet were 10 unbeaten, but Bury are going to take the points this afternoon. Nicky Adams getting a third goal for Bury 4 minutes from time. Clyde 1, Partick 2. Clyde pulling a goal back 2 minutes from time. Probably won't be enough. Sheffield Wednesday climbed out of the bottom 3 last Saturday, hoping they'll stay out of the relegation places. They're playing away at 7th place Plymouth. Hamish Marshall on duty.
It's Plymouth 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and Wednesday are on course for a 3rd away win in 4 games, and they've come from behind to get themselves in front. Akpo Soji's first goal for the club, and the speedy Burton O'Brien have found the net after Sylvan Ebanks-Blake had put Plymouth ahead from the spot after Peter Halmosi was fouled. Ian Holloway's brought on new signing Jermaine Easter and Rory Fallon to form a new strike force as Plymouth try to avoid a first home defeat of the season. It's Plymouth 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
That could push them up the table, and it could push them above Sheffield United. 3 successive defeats sent Charlton sliding down the table. They're hoping to check that run away at Southampton. Andy Barwell.
Well, chances galore here, but no goals. Stern Johns missed a sitter for Southampton. Xing Ji equally as guilty in the second half for Charlton, who'd earlier found the bar through a Sam Soji header. Charlton down to 10 men after Jose Semedo's first half sending off for 2 yellow cards. It's 0-0.
The story of the Scunthorpe Crystal Palace game now. Scunthorpe kicked off 9th in the table, Palace 3rd bottom. Mark Bishop.
Scunthorpe 0, Crystal Palace 0. 15-year-old John Bastock has come off the subs bench. Palace are pressing, but it's Scunthorpe who are causing all the problems. Another good save from Speroni, again denying Hurst, but we've just seen Clinton Morrison glancing a header just wide of the far post. Goalless here at Glanford Park.
Look like Torquay are going to miss out on the opportunity going back to the top of the Blue Square Premier. 5th place Cambridge United 2-1 up away at Plainmoor. Brighton 3, Luton 1. Looks like it's going to be points for Brighton this afternoon. Sheffield United 6th bottom when today's games got going, but only 6 points from a playoff place. David Garrido is watching their home game with Burnley, who were 3 points from a playoff place.
It's Sheffield United 0, Burnley 0. Ray, the visitors playing the better football in this second half. But yes, United have just scored. And it looks like James Beattie has scored for the home side with a close-range header. That after Burnley had really the lion's share of possession. But it looks like it's being disallowed. The home crowd booing that decision by ref Beebe from Northamptonshire. So just to clarify, no goal here at Bramall Lane. It remains Sheffield United 0, Burnley 0.
Quite a little bit of drama at Bramall Lane. Barnsley against Preston. Alan Biggs.
Barnsley lead 1-0, Ray. Preston could be sucked back into danger here. They've replaced their strike force, bringing on Neil Mellor and Patrick Adjaman in the second half, but still the main threat has come from Darren Carter, twice foiled brilliantly by Heinz Muller. Barnsley lead through Istvan Ferenci's first half header from a free kick from Brian Howard. They've had chances to clinch it. Ferenci missing one of them, Brian Howard missing another. Preston are punchless though today, and they trail 1-0.
Closing stages of this afternoon's game. A goal at the Riverside for either club would be absolutely priceless. Andrew James.
Well, Ray, it's still Middlesbrough 1, Tottenham 1. 89 minutes and 37 seconds is what's on the electronic scoreboard away to the right. Tottenham have been pushing for that equalising goal. They've had the better of Middlesbrough in the last 10-15 minutes or so, but there is still no way through for Tottenham. And if he didn't know before, Ray, I sense Juan de Ramos now knows the extent of the task that he swapped the Spanish sunshine for with Tottenham.
Garth, what's your view of what Juan de Ramos will make of watching his side play this afternoon?
Good, steady progress. Having from that be his report. Nothing more than that. I mean, he's got 4 players, quality strikers there. He's given them all a bit of a go. And on today's evidence, Bent and Defoe have had the better of the half.
3 minutes left at the Riverside. Let's go to Goodison Park. Everton, Birmingham. Damien Johnson. How long to go, Damien?
1 minute and 23 seconds and counting here, Ray. It's still 1-1, that unlikely equaliser from Olivier Capo pegging the team's level. James Vaughan had a great chance to put Everton ahead across from the right-hand side, but his shot was deflected wide. Bit of a rumpus over an injury and the ball being played out of play just a few moments ago, but it remains 1-1. The clock is ticking. Everton will be kicking themselves if they don't get all 3 points from this one.
Dundee 2, St Johnstone 1. That is second against third. 4-0, bottom of Scottish Division 3, Stirling 2. That's a goal later in the game. Some full-time whistles starting to go. Fulham, Reading, still playing at Craven Cottage. Jake Humphrey.
Still playing, Ray, but just moments for Fulham. The only Premier League side with just 1 win who aren't in the bottom 3 to hang on here. Laurie Sanchez has rejigged his front line. Diamanti Camara and Hammer Buatsu are off. David Healy and Shefki Kuchi are on. But it's at the back that Fulham's youngsters, Elliot Omazusi and Nathan Ashton, both making home debuts, are keeping the Reading strikers at bay. But Reading have scored 3 goals in stoppage time this season. So watch this space. And as I say that, it's Fulham that have scored a goal in stoppage time. David Healy has put the ball into the back of the net, so surely it's all over here at Craven Cottage. A much-needed home win for Fulham. As it stands, it's Fulham 3, Reading 1 with just moments left.
And just to confirm, Fulham 3, Reading 1. Given they've led 1-0 on 6 occasions and never quite got the points, this is very important for Fulham.
Oh, it was a massive game for them, especially not getting the 3 points against Derby when Derby were down to 10 men. But there's 6 draws now, and they've got a win to add it, get another win now, and it looks quite reasonable for them.
Fulham kicked off only 2 points above the relegation places. Celtic won at lunchtime to go 6 points clear. Rangers have pegged it back to 3. Brian McLaughlin.
Certainly have, Ray. It's finished Rangers 2, Cali Thistle 0. Chris Boyd scoring his 8th goal of the season after just 35 seconds, giving Rangers the early lead. And they had to wait to 18 minutes into the second half, though, for number 2, Carlos Queller, with a looping header beyond Michael Fraser in the Cali goal. In between, the visitors had threatened through Bain and Wynas, but in the end, Rangers much too strong. The perfect perfect tonic before they head to the new camp in midweek to take on Barcelona. It finished at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Cali Thistle 0.
Aberdeen wrapping things up with the points this afternoon. Lee Miller with a second goal in 90 minutes. Aberdeen 2, Dundee United 0. Carlisle against Leeds. The game in Leeds 1 that will decide who goes top of the division. James Mason.
And it's still Carlisle United 2, Leeds 1, Ray. We're into the last 2 minutes of this game. A fantastic finishing prospect as Jonathan Douglas strikes wide for Leeds United. You can probably hear the Carlisle fans who could go back to the top of League One tonight home happy. Simon Hackney and Joe Garner got the goals for them, cancelling out Jermaine Beckford's early strike. It's going to end, it looks like it, Carlisle 2, Leeds 1.
Leeds 13-game unbeaten run could be coming to an end. Final whistle starting to sound all around the country. That's the situation at the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Spurs. Andrew James.
Middlesbrough 1, Tottenham 1, Ray. Anyone who thought that Juan de Ramos had a magic wand to wave for Spurs will have been disappointed by this. Tottenham's new manager sprang a surprise by selecting Bent and Defoe ahead of Keane and Berbatov. Bent responded with a first-half goal for Spurs, but after 4 straight defeats, Middlesbrough responded magnificently, and a former Spurs player, Luke Young, put Borough level with a genuine contender for goal of the season. Probably the only goal Paul Robinson hasn't been blamed for in recent months. Middlesbrough 1, Spurs 1.
Let's go to the JJB Stadium. Chelsea moving to within 3 points of league leaders Arsenal and Manchester United. Dan Walker.
Yes, Ray, worthy winners today as they close in on the top 2. They played all their best football in the first 20 minutes. Sean Wright-Phillips' ball for Frank Lampard was perfect for the midfielder to score his 7th of the season. And when Wigan thought the ball had gone out, Giuliano Belletti made it 2 with his screamer from 20 yards. Real trouble for Wigan, 6 straight defeats for them. Chelsea remain in the fast lane.
A dramatic conclusion to the match at Goodison Park. Everton playing Birmingham. Damian Johnson.
And Everton, I think, have the winning goal. Lee Carsley rifled into the top corner past Mike Taylor. It's all Everton deserved. They've dominated the game, but Birmingham came back into it in the second half. An unlikely equaliser from Olivier Capo, but the ball pinged around the Birmingham area from a corner. Lee Carsley took aim, fired, and found the top corner. 2-1 Everton.
Well, it's been a day of great goals, and that was a cracking shot from Carty to win the game.
If there's ever the day to watch Match of the Day, tonight's tonight. Because we've got, what,
Goal of the
5,
month, isn't it?
6, possibly 7 goals have been scored today that all could be candidates for, what, Goal of the Month?
Contenders.
And possibly 2 for Goal of the Season.
Yeah.
Fulham against Reading. Jake Humphrey.
And I'm afraid it may be good news for the Fulham fans, but it's not very good news for Elliot Omazusi. Only making his 2nd appearance for Fulham. It's his home debut. A late tackle and he's received a late red card, but it's still Fulham 3, Reading 1.
Back to Goodison Park. Everton Birmingham. Damian Johnson.
Well, I can hardly hear you above the noise here at Goodison, but if the game wasn't safe before, it certainly is now. James Vaughan raced onto a long through ball, fired home from about 16 yards past Taylor. It's 3-1 Everton.
Final whistles going round the country to St James's Park. Newcastle kicked off unbeaten at home. Pompey the visitors. Quite an afternoon. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, it's finished Newcastle 1, Portsmouth 4. And forget about the shambles that masqueraded as a Newcastle defence from at times during this match. This was a thoroughly impressive display from the visitors. The game effectively over in the 11th minute. By then, Portsmouth were 3 up after a devastating 4-minute period. A 25-yarder from Palmer set the ball rolling. Benjani made it 2 a minute later. Just 2 minutes after that, Utaka made it 3. Even the goal that Newcastle got back was an own goal from Sol Campbell. Portsmouth just held on to their lead in the second half. They controlled the game. Then on the 70th minute, Cranshaw's free kick from the left wing found its way through Newcastle's defence to make it an embarrassing for Newcastle 4-1 defeat. But Harry Redknapp, a very happy man tonight.
Pompey 4th in the table. Last season their best since the 50s, 4th in the Barclays Premier League table. To Villa Park. Aston Villa have beaten Derby. Derby remain bottom. Roger Johnson.
It finished Aston Villa 2, Derby County 0. Villa's 5th win in 6 at home.
against the Derby side, which remains the only one in the country without an away goal yet this season. They didn't really come close today, but kept Villa at bay for almost an hour. A lapse at the back gave Gareth Barry space to nod Young's free kick into the path of Martin Larsson, who scored from close range. Ashley Young himself made it 2 from similar distance moments later. A good win for Villa. Derby have problems, although that's probably stating the obvious. Villa 2, Derby 0.
From Villa Park to Goodison Park, Everton against Birmingham, Damien Johnson.
Everton 3, Birmingham 1. It finished 2 late goals, sealed a deserved victory for Everton after it looked like Birmingham had nicked a point. Yakubu put Everton in front in the first half, a neat finish after Arteta, and then Pienaar opened up the visitors. The Nigerian then guilty of missing 3 good chances to extend their lead. Birmingham hardly threatened. It was a damage limitation exercise for them on a ground where they haven't won in the league in 50 years. Against the run of play, though, they got an unlikely equaliser. Olivier Capo unmarked headed in his 5th of the season. But Lee Carsley rifled home from the edge of the area, and then substitute James Vaughan raced clear to make it emphatic. 3-1 Everton.
Let's go to Craven Cottage. First win in 9 games for Fulham. Reading's away form 1 from 18. Jake Humphrey.
Well, Ray, football doesn't get much better looking than this for Fulham's followers. Under a beautiful orange and blue setting sun on the banks of the Thames, they've watched their side win something that only managed once before today. It was Simon Davies' volley 15 minutes into the first half that reminded the Craven Cottage faithful what it's like to celebrate. But true to form, Fulham conceded when Kevin Doyle rose unchallenged to head home. Cue the panic. Cue Clint Dempsey to quell it as he flicked his right-footed and knocked down to give Fulham the lead they desperately needed. And the cherry on the top was substitute David Healy's stoppage-time strike. The only sour note, the late red card for youth team product Elliot Omazusi on his home debut for a late challenge on James Harper. But I don't think the home fans will worry too much about that. They're all leaving in front of me with big smiles on their faces. Fulham 3, Reading 1.
Leeds' unbeaten run is coming to an end. They're playing away at Carlisle. James Mason.
And it has ended, Ray. A great game has just ended. Carlisle United 3, Leeds United 1. A goal at the death for Carlisle United, scored by Mark Bridge-Wilkinson, making it 3-1. The goal confirming Carlisle's win and their return to the top of League One, and Leeds' end to their unbeaten run. Carlisle 3, Leeds 1.
Yeah, Carlisle, top of League One. Top of the Championship. Well, Watford kicked off in first place. They had a significant lead, but West Bromwich Albion very keen to apply the brakes and pull them back to the chasing clubs. Dominic Cotton.
Yes, it's finished Watford 0, West Brom 3 here, and Watford's charge away from their rivals has been halted, and in pretty comprehensive fashion too. The West Brom pair of Ishmael Miller and Kevin Phillips outshone and overtook their Watford peers with a goal each in the first half, taking advantage of some static Watford defending. And the visitors made the point safe early in the second half. Martin Albrechtsen climbing highest to hammer in a header from a Jonathan Greening free kick. Changes in personnel failed to have any impact on the scoreline, and followers of this division will have to reconsider their thinking when it comes to title favourites.
News of a goal at St Mary's late in the game. Southampton against Charlton. Andy Barlow.
And it's come in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. The 10 men of Charlton have just taken the lead. Luke Varney, the substitute, raced down the right-hand side. Good deep crossing. Chris Iwelumo, clean header. Southampton 0, Charlton 1.
Having lost 3 matches on the bounce, that could be a significant win for Charlton. They've been sliding down the table. Wolves against Bristol City, 5th against 2nd at kick-off. Steve Lee.
It finished Wolves 1, Bristol City 1. You don't take points very easily at Molineux, so Gary Johnson's hard-working side will really savour this one. They soaked up some early Wolves pressure, survived a Jade Bothroyd goal, his 3rd of the season, and then hit back through Liam Fontaine's header from a set piece. In the second half, Bristol City could easily have nicked it. Efforts from Byfield, Elliott and Noble were all close. Wolves went close too, and Darren Ward's header almost sneaked in. Only 1 defeat all season for Bristol City. On this form, they could easily make the playoffs or better. Wolves 1, Bristol City 1.
Promoted Bristol City, great start to the season in the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers really finding their form, and they have a new manager, Tony Lockwood.
Rangers 2, Hull 0. It's 5 unbeaten for a revitalised Rangers under Italian management. A goal in each half secured the points. Hogan Ephraim struck from distance, and then Mikael Ledgerwood with a classic strike 10 minutes after the restart. Akos Buzaki made an impressive debut for the home side. Marnie, Windass and Garcia closest for Hull. QPR, I reckon, now out of the bottom 3. It ended Rangers 2, Hull 0.
And no win in 8 for Bradford, beaten home by Brentford this afternoon. Bradford 1, Brentford 2. Bradford sinking towards the relegation places in League 2. All the results just about in. Time for Tim Gudgin to confirm the final scores.
And off with the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2. Aston Villa 2, Derby County 0. Blackburn Rovers and Liverpool have an evening kick-off. Everton 3, Birmingham City 1. Fulham 3, Reading 1. Middlesbrough 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Newcastle United 1, Portsmouth 4. Wigan Athletic 0, Chelsea 2. The Coca-Cola Championship, Barnsley 1, Preston North End 0. Colchester United and Leicester City kick off this evening. Plymouth Argyle 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Hull City 0. Scunthorpe United 0, Crystal Palace 0. Sheffield United 0, Burnley 0. Southampton 0, Charlton Athletic 1, they're still playing. Stoke City 1, Coventry City 3. Watford 0, West Bromwich Albion 3. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Bristol City 1. Coca-Cola League 1, Brighton Hove Albion 3, Luton Town 1. Bristol Rovers 0, Bournemouth 2. Carlisle United 3, Leeds United 1. Crewe Alexandra 2, Yeovil Town 0. Huddersfield Town 3, Port Vale 1. Leyton Orient 1, Oldham Athletic 0. Millwall 0, Hartlepool United 1. Northampton Town 0, Southend United 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Tranmere Rovers 0. Swindon Town 1, Doncaster Rovers 2. Walsall 2, Cheltenham Town 0. League 2, Accrington Stanley 0, Notts County 2. Bradford City 1, Brentford 2. Bury 3, Barnet 0. Chesterfield 2, Morecambe 2. Hereford United 5, Darlington 1. Mansfield Town 5, Macclesfield Town 0. Rochdale 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Rotherham United 2, Grimsby Town 1. Stockport County 1, Peterborough United 2. Wycombe Wanderers 1, MK Dons 1. The Blue Square Premier, Burton Albion 0, Kidderminster Harriers 2. Ebbsfleet United 0, Forest Green Rovers 2. Halifax Town 3, Crawley Town 0. Histon 1, Altrincham 0. North Victoria 0, Stevenage Borough 2. Salisbury 0, Grays Athletic 1. Stafford Rangers 1, Exeter City 5. Torquay United 1, Cambridge United 2. Woking 1, Droylsden 1. The Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, Dundee United 0. Falkirk 2, Gretna 0. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 2. Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1. Rangers 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0. Irn-Bru Scottish Division 1, Clyde 1, Partick Thistle 2. Dundee 2, St Johnstone 1. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Livingston 4. Morton 1, Stirling Albion 1. Queen of the South 2, Hamilton Academicals 1. Scottish Div 2, Berwick Rangers 1, Ayr United 1. Brechin City 0, Alloa Athletic 0. Peterhead 1, Ross County 2. Queen's Park 0, Airdrie United 1. Wraith Rovers 2, Cowdenbeath 0. And Scottish Div 3, Dumbarton 1, Arbroath 1. East Fife 4, Elgin City 0. Forfar Athletic 0, East Stirling 2. Stenhousemuir 0, Albion Rovers 1. And Tennant Scottish Cup second round, Pollock 0, Montrose 1.
Plenty of debate and discussion in the light of those results on the way. Carlton Palmer, Mark Bright and Garth Crooks will offer their opinions on today's performances after we've looked at the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal left it late, but William Gallas's injury time equaliser ensures the Gunners stay ahead of Manchester United with a game in hand. Chelsea's fourth consecutive league win puts them into the top three. Portsmouth jumped 3 places to fourth after their first away win at Newcastle for almost 60 years. Blackburn and Liverpool playing in the late game, but they have the chance to move into the top 4. Bolton don't play until tomorrow, but Derby blew their chances of moving off the bottom of the table by losing at Aston Villa. Wigan, who briefly topped the table earlier this season, slip into the bottom 3 after their defeat at home to Chelsea. Tottenham didn't give new manager Randy Ramos a dream start in the league, but they did get a point. They move out of the bottom 3 after drawing with Middlesbrough, who move up a spot. In the Coca-Cola Championship, League leaders Watford slipped to only their second defeat of the season, going down 3-0 at home to third-placed West Bromwich Albion, who are now within 6 points of the Hornets. Second-place Bristol City closed the gap to 5 points with a 1-1 draw away to Wolves. Charlton recorded their first win in 4 matches with a late winner at Southampton. They jumped from 8th to 4th. Norwich City have fallen 4 points adrift at the bottom ahead of Glen Roeder's baptism of fire, as he's the new Canaries manager at home to East Anglian rivals Ipswich Town tomorrow. Crystal Palace still winless under Neil Warnock. They slipped to 23rd after a 0-0 draw at Scunthorpe. Queen's Park Rangers climb out of the bottom 3 in Luigi Di Canio's first match in charge as they beat Hull City 2-0. In League One, Carlisle stay top after coming from behind to end Leeds' unbeaten record. Orient move up to second after their win at home to Oldham. Southend beat Northampton to rise to third. Tranmere dropped down to 6th after losing to Nottingham Forest, who move into the top 4. At the end of the table, Cheltenham find themselves at the foot after their defeat at Walsall. Bournemouth move off bottom spot after their away win at Bristol Rovers. Paul Vale and Millwall both drop down a place, both lost today. There's the top of Coca-Cola League 2. Milton Keynes Dons drew 1-1 at Buckinghamshire rivals Wickham, but remain top of the table despite playing the majority of the second half with only 9 men. Chester City now a point behind after winning at Lincoln last night. Hereford and Peterborough, they move ahead of Darlington after the Quakers lost at Hereford. Lincoln City and Wrexham now 2 points from safety, but Wrexham do have 2 games in hand over their rivals. Bradford City and Grimsby continue to struggle as both lose again. Improving Mansfield made it 4 points from 2 games after an emphatic 5-0 win against Macclesfield. Simon Brown scoring a 22-minute hat-trick in the process. The Blue Square Premier League, the top, Aldershot, top of the table after their win last night. Torquay dropped to second after going down to a late defeat against Cambridge. Other end of the table, here's the bottom. It's Northwich Victoria, still without a win. They stay firmly rooted to bottom spot. They lost at home to Stevenage today. Droylsden earned a point at Woking to move 3 points clear of the bottom. And there's the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Celtic remain 3 points clear of city rivals Rangers after both claimed victories against Kilmarnock and Inverness respectively. Aberdeen have closed to within a point of Dundee United after beating them 2-0 at Pittodrie. Gretna lost for a 10th time this season to remain rooted to the foot of the league. They're now 6 points adrift, having been beaten by Falkirk, who leapfrog Inverness courtesy of that win. Confirmation of the late kick-off in the Coca-Cola Championship. Charlton beating Southampton by 1-0 with a very, very late goal. And after 3 defeats on the bounce, very important for Charlton to get 3 points this afternoon. 13 Saturdays into this football season, still lots to come on Final Score as we review the top football stories of the day. William Gallas's injury time equaliser ensures Arsenal stay top of the table. Informed Frank Lampard on target again as Chelsea move into the top 3. Benjani finds the net again as Pompey win at St James's Park for the first time since 1949. Spurs are held at Middlesbrough in Juande Ramos's first league game in charge. Derby lose again as Young and Larson seal 3 points for Aston Villa. Dempsey and Davis, the heroes for Fulham, ending an 8-game winless run without a win. At Goodison Park, Carsley and Vaughan strike late to give Birmingham the blues and Everton the points. And it's all the goals from those games and the Blackburn-Liverpool game still to be played in Match of the Day, 10:30 start here on BBC One. Right. At the Emirates at lunchtime, big game, Manchester United taking the lead late on, Arsenal coming back to equalise. Let's hear from Arsene Wenger.
You've been rightly lauded for your performance so far this season, and I know you will know more than anyone there's an awful long way to go, but had you lost this game today, how sort of devastating would it have been for you?
Frankly, I don't know, but it would have been devastating because with such a short time to go to concede a goal is difficult, but would have faced the problem because this team deserves a lot of credit. Nobody expected anything from us at the start of the season, so we have as well not to go overboard, if we had lost the game. But this side is really surprising. I had many, but this side has something that you don't see at the first look, but they're very resilient.
You haven't achieved anything yet with this side, except for one thing, a new club record of matches unbeaten in a sequence. The statisticians love that sort of thing. What do you think of it?
Consistency is always the first sign of quality and of attitude, and so we have 25 games unbeaten in all competitions. That means that there's something special in the squad.
Arsenal top of the table on goals scored. Well, Arsenal have showed they have fighting spirit. They came back late in the game against Liverpool and they come back late against Manchester United.
Last week I thought they were unlucky eventually not to win the game, but they shared the points, as they did again this week. I think United let them off the hook this week. Arsenal may have shown a lot of resilience, a lot of style, but Manchester United had the opportunity to close the game and they didn't.
Do you agree with that? Let off the hook?
I think they deserved it. I really do think they deserved it. I thought they got dominated in the first half. Manchester United scored against the run of play. And I just think that anybody at that game today or watching tonight, while it'll be highlights, will think that Arsenal absolutely deserved it. I mean, don't forget, this is quite a young team as well. And he was saying the other day about they could be the new young Invincibles.
What's your verdict, Carlton? And how do you think Sir Alex Ferguson will feel about the results?
Let me tell you, if the game was comfortable for Manchester United, Alex Ferguson would have been in his chair. He was out in the technical area more times than he was sat down. Let me tell you, their credentials as championships have been shown at Liverpool away, at Manchester United at home. They're the real deal. We'll just have to wait and see.
Tottenham drew 1-1 away at Middlesbrough today. They have a new boss, of course, Wande Ramos. Gus Poyet is his assistant. Let's hear what he thinks about Tottenham's performance today.
Gus, what's your assessment at the end of the first week?
I think it's quite positive in terms that we won the first game in charge. We got a result today, even if we were looking for the 3 points. I think we improved a little bit, not a lot. We had to keep working, but quite happy with the attitude of the players as well.
The first thing that strikes you when you look at the statistics when you came in was the inability to keep clean sheets. I guess that's the first thing that you guys want to work on.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that. We've been working, not enough days. But I don't know if Luke Young scored a better goal than the one he scored today. So that kind of situations only happen when you are in this part of the table. So it was a great goal. We cannot do nothing against that. Sometimes you defend and you say somebody have a shot from 40 yards, top corner with that power is very difficult for everyone. So keep going, really.
Did you see a lack of confidence in the players? I mean, is that a problem?
I think we were better today. Probably everyone was expecting even to have a problem in the last 10 minutes, but we went for the game. Maybe too open, the game, to be fair. So it was like, trying to score to win the game, but at the same time you don't want to concede. So in terms of improvements and attitude of the players, I think we are quite happy. But of course, it's still a long way to go.
Tottenham out of the bottom three, but only on goal difference. And for news on Tottenham or for any English or Scottish club, the My Club service is available. Text My Club and the name of your club, Luton Town, for example, to 81010. A link to the section with up-to-date news on that club on the BBC Sport website will be sent to your mobile phone. So, Tottenham, 1-1 draw away at Middlesbrough. What's your opinion of the way Wande Ramos has gone about this? He left out Berbatov and Robbie Keane from the starting lineups.
Yeah, and he brought them on into half-time.
But he left them out, that was quite brilliant.
He left them out. I'm not so sure. He gave people opportunities. Let's spin it round the other way. He gave Bent and Defoe opportunity in the first half. He gave Keane and Berbatov an opportunity in the second half. Didn't quite clinch the victory, what he would have liked, but it presented Middlesbrough with a problem. But football's about presenting teams with opportunities, and Middlesbrough accepted theirs. It was a wonder goal from Luke Young, a wonder goal.
What do you make of Middlesbrough, because they had lost the last 4 before this game?
Well, it was a difficult game because I think Tottenham all the pressure was on Tottenham to go there and play. It was a very, very open game. I thought Tottenham played very well in the first half with Bent and Defoe and should have maybe killed the game off. But they hung in there, Middlesbrough.
So with Arsenal and Manchester United drawing and Chelsea winning, Chelsea within 3 points at the top of the Barclays Premier League table. Let's hear from their manager, Avram Grant.
Another win. Week by week, it seems to get better and better for Chelsea.
Yes, things are better. First we win, second we play, especially first half we play well. We score 2 goals, we can score more, created chances. Good game for us and good win again.
Did you get the feeling by half-time, yes, we've got this one?
Yes, even before the game. You know, we played well last weeks. The team are more organized now. To play attacking football, many players come to attack. Good winning.
You did say last week you couldn't win by 6 goals every week. There seemed to be a definite idea of just sticking for what you've got in the second half today.
Yes, we play away and very difficult against team that they fought for their life, if I can say. They fought very well. But we won. That's more important. I know that we cannot score any game 6 goal, not even 4. But as long as we win and we attack, we play attacking football, it's good for me.
Chelsea away at Schalke in the Champions League next Wednesday, and looking ahead to next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, with our Champions League, UEFA Cup or league games to be played. A score service will run via the Red Button or via the BBC Sport website from 7:30. What do you make of Chelsea? Avram Grant, 3 or 4 weeks ago, people were saying, people sitting in the studio said they didn't think he had much authority.
I think I was one game. I think it's something like he's lost his first one against Manchester United, he's drawn 2 and he's won some like 7, or is that the 8th one? They've scored lots of goals as well. I don't believe that Frank Lampard's playing a little bit further forward. Frank Lampard scored 20 goals the last 3 or 4 seasons, but the draw at the Emirates today was a great result for them. It's brought them within 3 points.
And if you're having a pop at me, let me defend myself by saying this. A manager's only good as his players. He's got some of the best players in the world.
Yeah. What are you going to say if Chelsea win the title under Avram Grant?
He's got some of the best players in the world.
So you're not going to
Some people might say he's entitled to it.
You're not going to give him any credit at all?
Not yet.
No. If they win the title...
He hasn't won anything yet.
No. The debate now is, people said he didn't have the authority to come in and take it forward. They're now within 3 points of the league leaders.
But that wasn't what the chairman had said. Peter Kenyon said that he was going to take it, he was going to take them on to a different level. He's going to win the league title and win the European Cup for me to take it on to another level.
First win in 9 for Fulham this afternoon. There's their manager, Laurie Sanchez.
Well, Laurie, that second win of the season has been a long time in coming. What's the overwhelming emotion afterwards? Relief, pride, surprise?
It's been too long, you're right. Not relief, not surprise. I think we've been very good, but we haven't got over that final 10 minutes. I think when the 10 minutes went up on the clock, everybody in the crowd took a deep breath and said, what's going to happen this week? We showed them in the only way you can, which is to go on, not only win, but score another goal in that time and finish it off. A lot of questions, well, not a lot of questions. Some people have questioned myself and questioned my team this week. The team have shown in the only way it is possible to show, what they're about. We're not far off being a decent side, but we are learning. We had a debutant in Nathan Ashton today, and then Junior, who got sent off unfortunately at the end of the game. It's only his second league game, so they've come into the team. We've got a lot of new faces who are coming in this summer, learning the game. David Healy's never played at this level before. Clint Dempsey hasn't played regularly at this level before, and we're learning as we go on. What we haven't done, we've done everything bar hold on and get 3 points at the end. We've done that today against Reading, which was important because we needed to pull them back into the same area as us. We've given the fans what they want to see, which is entertaining football, goals. And so I think the team have answered a lot of questions for people, and I'm pleased for them as individuals, pleased for them as a team, because they're a good group of lads to work with.
Fulham in 12th place, and they're 4 points above the relegation places. More reaction to today's football results on the way, but just looking ahead, 5 weeks tomorrow, who gets a very special award has to be decided.
My favourite moment of the year. Have I got a microphone on?
Yes.
Have I? Oh. My favourite moment of 2007, Padraig Harrington winning the Open Championship at Carnoustie.
Well done, Padraig Harrington.
It was a great moment. It was the first sporting event I've ever watched with my daughter where she's got it. She really wanted Padraig Harrington to win.
He's also a very, very good dancer, did you know that?
Ricky Hatton fighting Luis Castillo. What's he called? I can't see.
Castillo in Vegas. It was certainly one of the best body punches I've seen.
Spot on, Joe. Ricky Hatton versus Luis Castillo.
My favourite sporting moment of the year by a mile was the Scotland victory against France in Paris.
The men's Wimbledon final between Nadal and Federer.
Two gladiators throwing everything at each other.
It was awesome to do it that many times.
The England rugby team were totally written off and bounced back against all the critics.
My favourite sporting moment this year is Frankie Dettori winning the Epsom Derby.
Frankie Dettori winning the Derby at last at the 15th attempt.
To see him do it and to see the elation on his face was a great moment for horse racing, a great moment for British sport.
The arrival of Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton's win in F1 in Canada this year, I thought it was just an amazing moment.
Has really lifted that sport.
He's put F1 racing back on the map again.
You know, he's got in the car. But what can I say about Lewis?
He's young and beautiful also. I have to start again. The best driver that we have seen in Formula 1.
Yeah, and all that. See you later.
A previous winner in action tomorrow on 2:15 on BBC Two. Coverage of the New York Marathon. Great Britain's Paula Radcliffe in the field. Her first marathon in more than 2 years. Let's go to Villa Park now. Aston Villa 2-0 winners at home to Derby County today. Here's the Villa manager Martin O'Neill.
3 points overall. Are you quite happy with that?
Yeah, really frustrating first half. Didn't play well enough. It was almost like a throwback to the first half against Bolton last week, and never really got enough momentum going. I just felt that on the back foot for far too long, and that shouldn't be us at home. It's up to us to dictate the play, which we have done remarkably enough during the last few games. But I meant the last few home games. But overall, second half we improved enough to win the game.
You mentioned, as with last week, the second half much better than the first from your point of view. But unlike last week, this time do you feel that you really should have been ahead much earlier than you were by half-time?
Perhaps that's right. But I mean, I suppose you eventually get what you deserve. I suppose. But I thought there was a period in the first half where it looked as if it was going to happen, but we never kept the momentum going. That was the problem with this. And by half-time, I was probably quite pleased to see it. But the players galvanised themselves in the second half and certainly did enough to win. It was much, much better. And the crowd got behind us. But they were quite right to show a bit of disapproval at half-time because we hadn't done enough.
Do you feel
Derby, bottom of the table. Frustration starts to set in. 1 point from 21 away from home. Goalkeeper Stephen Bywater and Stephen Leacock in a bit of a debate going off. And I guess in a way you can imagine it and it's understandable.
I mean, listen, we've all been there. We've all been there, and teammates and frustrations. We all want to win football games, and this is their livelihood. When you're getting beaten, it's a local derby. Maybe something's happened on the goal, the set piece.
You've got to show it. It's got to mean something to you. It's taken ages getting to the Premier League. You want to stay there. You've got to be passionate with each other and be honest.
The only important thing for Derby at the moment, OK, they're losing us. You don't want the gap growing bigger and bigger to all those other teams around you. So if you put a run together, you might have a chance of getting out of trouble.
If I'm the chairman or the manager and I'm seeing those two players arguing about his feet, I'm thinking, well, with that sort of spirit, we might have a chance. I have no problem with it.
No. Portsmouth, 4th in the table. Great victory away at Newcastle today. Top scorer in the Premier League is Benjani. Let's hear from him.
Benjani, a wonderful game. A great start too, with 3 goals inside the first 12 minutes today.
Yeah, normally if you are away and you get 2 goals first 10 minutes, you know that everything is going according to what you have planned.
And the away form this season, what's changed the way Portsmouth play away from Fratton Park, do you think, this season?
Now it's okay because we go out, we're going for away games with a mentality to win. It's different than before. We're going to defend, now we attack a lot when we're going for away games.
You've got 8 goals now this season. Looks like you're really enjoying playing in this side, in this formation for Portsmouth.
No, the other lads, they are making things easier for me because I don't do the lot of running. Now I wait until I get the right chance to score.
Portsmouth now, I think that's 4 away wins in the league in a row. How far can Pompey go this season? How high up the table can they finish, do you think?
I think we'll finish in the top 6. And all lads, they know we're pushing for top 6.
What do you mean to the players to qualify for European football next season?
Yeah, as you know, we're always fighting for relegation, and now if we finish in the top 6, it will be a massive improvement.
We're on your fans. They've got a long drive home tonight, but they'll be happy in those cars on the way home tonight, won't they?
Yeah, if we win, even if a long drive, it becomes easier.
First time they won at St James's Park since 1949, so the Pompey fans will be deliriously happy. Fourth in the table. What's different about Pompey this year?
They've got players who can score goals all over the park. All over the park. Glenn Johnson's got goals this season. Utaka, Mutari, Benjani we've seen, Kanu. That's the big difference with Portsmouth.
Difficult to beat. David James has been outstanding for the last 2 seasons, and the biggest thing has been Sol Campbell.
Let's go to Goodison Park. Everton striker Yakubu is going to talk to us.
Why was that so difficult for Everton in the end?
Yeah, I think we didn't play the way we started the game, you know. We keep giving them pressure, and almost 20 minutes to go, and we stopped playing, and Birmingham started playing and make it difficult for us, and we're about to lose the game, I think so, you know. We have to raise our game and win the score, you know, and we want to get the 3 points, and we got it at the end in the last minute, and we're so pleased.
It all began so well for Everton, you scoring your first goal at Goodison after, what, only 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's a good finish, you know. Played almost 7 or 8 games already, you know. I always score at home, and to score, first go at home and give you more confidence, and to the fans too, you know, it's a great feeling to score.
Everton won 4 in all competitions, 8th in the table. Let's go back to the Emirates, because it was a fantastic game. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2, and get some more post-match reaction from the 2 sets of players.
William, Arsenal against Manchester United usually tends to mean something. What did this mean today?
Today, that mean a lot of for us, you know, because we take 1 point. You know, it was not easy to beat that team. You know, I think they play very well. We suffer a little bit, but you know, we didn't give up until the end of the game. And I can tell you, in the dressing room, the players was so happy.
Ryan, it was a fantastic game for the neutral. What was it like to play in that one?
Yeah, it's obviously a great game to be involved in. These are the games that you want to play in. 2 quality teams, lots of quality on the pitch. You know, obviously, we'd have liked to have got the result, but yeah, it wasn't to be today.
You've played in your share of these games down the years. This one was billed as match of the season, as they often are, but it's been a couple of years since it meant this much.
Yeah, I think it's still early in the season, but obviously there's a lot riding on the game because, you know, we're number 1 and 2 in the league at the moment. And both teams have got off to such a good start, so there was a lot riding on the game, and I think that showed early parts of the game. Both teams not really getting going. But once both teams got going, you know, you've seen the quality of both teams.
Quite an afternoon, Carlton. Arsenal 27, Manchester United 27, Chelsea now on 24. William Gallas scoring at both ends, goals flying in all over the place. Terrific.
Yep, and if the sports minister's watching, that's what people are paying these people money for. Eh? Top players. I mean, the Manchester United-Arsenal game was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Great entertainment this afternoon, Mark.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to look, 23 goals with 1 game still to go, and some fantastic goals. Luke Young, Belletti and Davies from Fulham, fantastic.
Arsenal and Manchester United put on quite a display. The top teams, but they really play some great football.
Great football, 2 great teams, but Manchester United, make no mistake, today we're thinking we perhaps should have nicked that.
You really think so?
Yeah, I think having been put in the front, not to close the door on Arsenal, is not Manchester United.
Well, as always, full details on all today's football are on the BBC Sport website. All the results, the goal scorers, the tables and sports news across the board. Well, we're about to say goodbye to BBC One viewers, but today's football service continues now on BBC I. Press the red button and follow the links. You can get access to the final score studio. 10:30 start for Match of the Day. This is where we close on BBC One. And the final score will waltz your way next Saturday. Bye for now.